welcome back to AR77. Today we are looking at the Beretta 92A1 by Umarex. This is a really faithful reproduction or replica of the Beretta 92A1. It's a .177 or 4.5mm BB shooting air pistol powered by CO2. So it does have the full blowback functionality. It is a fully metal pistol, true to the original, other than a couple of bits like perhaps the grips are plastic. Has a full-size metal dropout magazine. It's a really nice pistol, a really nice gun. So famous, such a famous shape. The sort of 92, the Beretta 92 kind of platform. Although there are a number of different iterations of it, this is one of them. But that exposed barrel and this sort of cutaway here at the front of the slide, the slide held safety there and decocker in this case. If you're of a certain age like I am and you've seen Lethal Weapon and you grew up watching things like that and Die Hard, it was hard to miss this pistol, and it left quite a big impact on those of us who are into pistols and into guns. So I'll do probably a different video when I look at some comparisons and I talk in a little bit greater detail about these pistols, because I do think there's a bit of a void when it comes to Beretta love on the channel, which I think we should fill. I've spoken a lot about 1911s, I've spoken quite a bit about SIGs and Glocks, but maybe Beretta should have the day, because they are lovely pistols, as you can imagine, from Italy. But that's for another day. Let's just look at this one for now. I'll talk about it, weigh up some of the pros and cons, do a couple of comparisons with similar pistols perhaps, but not get into too much depth about the others. Let's just take a look at it. So on this side, as you can see, you have a weighty pistol. As I said before, it is full metal. You have the white writing on the side, Pietro Beretta, PB there. So fully licensed by Umarex. You've got your kind of takedown lever there. I'll show you a bit more about that later on. That's your slide catch release, and you've got this kind of safety here, which, while we're here, I might as well show you. I'll just take the magazine out. It's not loaded, there's no CO2, no BBs in it. But yeah, so if you cock the pistol like that, you can decock the pistol using that safety lever. Really, it's a safety lever. So there, the gun is cocked. You can decock it just like that. It's a single action and double action pistol. So I guess in the real world, where you're using the real steel, your first shot would be double action, quite a long trigger pull from there, and you'd see it push the hammer back, after which the gun would cycle, and then that's better, and then you are left with, as you can see, a much shorter single action trigger pull. And while we're here, I will just mention it's really nice and short in terms of the kind of reset. Let's just see how far back it has to go. Just to there, nice and audible, nice and crisp, and then you're ready to go again. So really pleasant pistol to shoot. Single action, double action. You can obviously, for that first shot, you can just rack the slide and then you're straight into single action. So that's up to you. You have your mag release there. Everything's in the right place. You have these kind of Beretta style grips here. Really good grips, actually. Really quite aggressive. They really grab into your hand. They are plastic, but I don't see that that's an issue. Yeah, they do the job. They're good, I believe. On the real thing, they're possibly plastic anyway. Perhaps you can tell me. So let me just talk about a couple of details just while we're on this side, just to clear a couple of things up. So if you've seen pistols like the 92FS, that would not have a rail at the front. So let me just bring my Umarex. This is another Umarex pistol. This is the pellet pistol. So that's the 92FS there. Lovely pistol that. Very similar design and everything. You can see how similar it is, but you can see that there wouldn't be a rail on there. So that's something that they introduced for the 92A1. So the A1 is the upgrade. So they have that there. So yeah, a couple of other differences. Obviously, this sort of there's quite a famous shape really on the 92FS. That sort of squared off, quite sort of pointy trigger guard, and that's quite famous. I think this is more like the original Berettas that they made. I believe that that's how they were initially, and I think actually where this comes from on the M9A1 is that this is actually, in the real world, I believe the M9A1 is actually a Beretta 96. A Beretta 96 basically is a 40 caliber Beretta. So this is kind of based on the frame of the Beretta 96, but the M9A1 is kind of rebuilt to house 9mm rounds, but the Beretta 96 has this kind of styling similar to the older style Berettas. That's my understanding. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's from what I've seen, that is the case. So it's not an upgrade of the 92FS as such. It's more like a reworked Beretta 96 for just a different caliber. Obviously that's irrelevant here because it shoots 4.5mm BBs, but just a bit of background there. Okay, so what else? So you have your rail here. You've got this nice swooping, almost kind of inverted S type shape. I guess it's not inverted if you turn it around, is it? I really like that. I really like that sort of smooth line on there. Big chunky grips, kind of a skeletonized kind of hammer there. You do get a white dot front and rear, so it's really good for sight acquisition. You're going to get nice picture there for when you fire. Yeah, I really like the weight and size of this pistol. You do have the kind of stripes there to give you a bit more grip, and again down the back you've got these stripes, so it does sit nicely in your hand. It is a larger pistol, but that's what it is. You know, it's a larger pistol. If you like larger pistols, you'll like this probably, if you like the styling as well. It does have that lovely kind of Beretta exposed barrel. You see that on the Walther P38 as well, but it's become synonymous with Beretta styling. Around to the other side, sorry, you can see that that safety is ambidextrous, and you've got a nice red dot there just to let you know when you're in fire or when you're in safe. It's not an ambidextrous mag release, but you can see the workings here. A bit of oil on this because it was a bit keen when I first got it out of the box. The spring in here is really long and really quite stiff, so it's a really good blowback action. But it did mean it was a little bit more challenging to rack. I say challenging. I didn't struggle to do it. I don't think anyone would struggle to do it. But when you've picked up the, well, I don't know, other pistols, the HK USP or whatever, the Springfield, they're just not as tricky to rack. You know, it's not as much pushback on that spring. But that's probably a good thing. It's probably quite a good thing. So there's a bit of oil all over it. Again, just another detail here that sets this apart is this kind of, as part of the takedown system, which I'll probably show you in a bit. You have to push this in from this side, and that's, I think, unusual that it's a round button on the M9, not M9, on the 92A1. If I show you again, the Umarex, this doesn't work. It's not a functioning takedown, but that is the shape that it would usually be. That kind of extended kind of overly kind of dash shape. So there you go. So we've got bits of writing on this side as well. We've got 4.5mm model 92A1, Beretta trademark licensed, made for Umarex in Germany, serial number and stuff. Again, I'm not an expert in these guns, but I believe obviously you can get the M9 and you can get the 92. I think the 92 is just the civilian version of the M9 that I think was for military use. I believe that's the case. Please, again, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't always do loads of research. I just like getting the pistols and shooting them and then sharing them with you. So, pretty straightforward on that side. Full metal trigger, full metal hammer. Let's have a look at the business end. So you can see there you've got your inner barrel there. It's recessed. It's quite nice because Berettas tend to have this kind of extending barrel here out of the front of the slide, so it does have a sort of natural recess there. We'll just do a bit of a comparison then to another very similar pistol, which I've shown you before. This is the M9A3, and these two are definitely kind of stable mates. Obviously this is based on the M9A3, the most recent kind of military offering, I believe, by Beretta, and it's got some different things here as well. You've got a larger and protruding mag release there. The sights are different slightly. You've got this extension here and threaded barrel. The rail is slightly different. You've got these 3 points here. You don't have that. You've just got the 2 points there. But functionally, they are pretty much identical, to the point where actually you can take this magazine and use it in that pistol. It looks god awful, but you can do it. I have done it. And similarly, you can get the black magazine and pop it in there and that'll work. That doesn't look too bad, actually. Differences when shooting them then. With the M9A3 here, I get a more resounding kind of pop when I fire it. I don't know if it shoots harder or anything like that, but the pop is a bit more kind of bassy. This one fires with more of a I don't want to say bang because it's not really loud, but like more of a snap, kind of more of a cracking noise. That's the M9A3 gives off more of a pop. Both are a pleasure to shoot. Both got really strong blowback. Both really nice pistols. I don't know if it's because the real world firearm of this type functions differently, but what you don't get with this one is you don't get the working decocker. That just works as a safety. So it doesn't decock. Then obviously you can see those rear sights are very different. To the ones there on the M9, sorry, on the 92A1. Really good pistol, really happy with it. Shoots at around, I'd say 300 FPS, maybe 310, something like that. It's not going to win any records, but it shoots well. It feels really good to shoot the pistol. And again, if you're like me, you're reminiscing about seeing Mel Gibson or seeing Bruce Willis shoot these pistols, and it's just a bit of nostalgia, really. It's a walk down memory lane. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. On the box for the M9 A3, it says here the capacity of 16 rounds. You see that? Get it in the middle of that ring light. 16 rounds. On the box for the 92A1, your capacity jumps up there to 18 rounds. But that's not true. Both pistols have, as I said before, almost identical magazines, if not identical other than the colour. They both hold 18 rounds. You can see the hole's in the same place. The follower travels back just as far in both. Both hold 18 rounds. So if you're thinking, well, I'll get this one because it carries more, even though I prefer the styling on the M9A3, Don't let that sway you, because this carries just as many rounds, 18 a piece. So I'll do a bit of a takedown on this, and as I said, the sort of tolerances are pretty good here. Let me show you another pistol. Well, I've got you. There's an obvious comparison here. This is the Taurus PT92 by KWC. So obviously it's not a Beretta, but you know, those of us in the know that Taurus PT92s were built to Beretta specifications, really, in Beretta factories. You know, it's very similar pistol to the 92, with the exception of obviously the safety is no longer on the slide. It's part of the sort of lower receiver there, or lower frame. Anyway, I'll talk about that in more detail on another video. I just wanted to show you this. If I give this gun a little shake, don't hear a thing. If I give this one a little shake, sounds like it's losing teeth. And I think I know why that is. If I just pop that back, you can see on the PT92, you've got this kind of loose barrel here. I don't know if that's just mine, or if that's how the Taurus PT92s are made, if it's like a floating barrel type system. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with this gun. It's always been like that, but it does shake. So, just, there you go. With the Beretta, that's not the case. So if I just let that slide back there. And this was always my understanding, that these were like fixed slide pistols, as opposed to the kind of floating barrel that you get in a 1911. But, you know, other than maybe a bit of a spring or something in there, there's hardly any noise, and I like that. I like the fact that the tolerances are quite tight. I like the fact that it doesn't feel rickety. Both of those pistols, the PT92 by KWS and this 92A1, are both really enjoyable pistols to own. But yeah, once again, I digress. I'm trying to talk fast and get through it quicker, but you know, I enjoy talking about these things, and if you're anything like me, you enjoy hearing about them. So, what do we need to take this down? Well, you see you've got your magic button here. You press your magic button from that side. Let me just push that back a bit. Right, okay, so that can just be in its sort of normal position there. You push it through from that side, disengage that, and the slide is free to come off. So you've got your lower there, you've got bottom part of the frame there with all your gubbins. I've put a little bit of oil, a bit of Pelgun oil just on here where the, not there, but here, and you put a little bit here, just where the slide kind of meets the frame. So there's your bottom bit, and here's your slide. I'm not going to take this off because the spring is so long. Obviously, you can take your guide rod out if you want to. There's no real need to do that. But this spring, honestly, is, I mean, you'd expect it to be a bit longer, but it's like that long. It's a real effort to sort of thread the guide rod back through it to get it back in. I say a real effort. I'm over-egging the pudding there. I'm exaggerating as always. But yeah, I was quite surprised, actually. I was quite surprised. But again, I think it's a good thing. I think it implies a level of quality. And until I see any different, I'm going to continue to believe that. So far, this has been a really nice pistol to shoot. Really enjoyable. Very straightforward then. So you push your slide all the way back home, and there you go. Couldn't be simpler. There you have it. Let's put a magazine in. Let's not leave it alone out there. Yeah, great for shooting targets, great for plinking cans, a great replica air pistol all around. Really pleased with this. Whew, where does it sit in my preferences then? I don't know. This is a classic, isn't it? It's a design classic. But then I say that about nearly every pistol I review. I'll just love them all. I mean, it's almost as recognisable as a 1911. in all honesty, this kind of shape of pistol. It's almost as recognisable. And I guess different generations would probably say this is more recognisable. But we've moved on from these, haven't we? They don't make these, well, I don't think they would design a new pistol in full metal unless it was for a very specific reason around addressing things like recoil and things like that. So this is one of the last big, heavy metal pistols, along with the P226, along with the 1911, I think Browning High Power, you could say, CZs maybe. Really nice pistol. I'm going to go on and on and on about it, so I will shut up. What I will say is this: I know a lot of you won't like that, and unfortunately, you know, yeah, it does carry that white writing. I quite like it myself. I don't mind it on this side because it's all business. It's all Beretta stuff. So I think that's fine. What I would have preferred, even if it was white, I preferred if it was like etched into the slide. That's what I would have preferred. On the other side, I know that a lot of people are going to dislike that. I know you're going to dislike that, but hey ho, it is what it is. It doesn't spoil my enjoyment of the pistol. You could probably cover it over with a bit of a Sharpie or something like that. It's not the end of the world. It's less intrusive, I would say, on the M9A3. Well, I'll say that, I don't know. You've got warning there, read manual before use. It doesn't say that on the 92. Anyway, like I say, I'll do a bit of Beretta love on a different video. We'll have a more in-depth comparison between this, the M9A3. We'll probably throw the Taurus P292 in there. And of course the 92FS, the pellet pistol by Umarex, the very good quality pellet pistol. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, get involved in the conversation. Yeah, Umarex Beretta 92A1. Stay safe, all the best, bye.